Yes, very much so. And one of the things is since a few months ago, with the outbreak of the war in Ukraine, we have experienced a hike in prices for all commodities, starting from the domestic into the industry. As a result of the fuel increases, everything follows suit. The food. And when we say food, it means in our situation where we have got a lot of poor people who cannot afford to buy food in bulk. They buy food per day, and therefore it really affects the local people in the very immediate effects. Like if the prices increase today, the following day the food prices increase. And in the long term, you may have commodities that may be stored in bulk, things like construction materials such as steel, which come from South Africa. The transport costs go high as fuel prices go high. And as a result, it affects, say, the budgets. We prepare a budget today. In 2 weeks' time, 6 months' time, things change, and the prices of most of the things which are on the list change. Last year, we had, say, 70 kwacha for a 25 kg of meal, and meal is a key food component in our setup because that's the staple food. So at the moment it's ranging around 120, 150 depending on where you buy it. So the basic food prices have gone up. And in that regard, it means the food security for the people around us is very much affected. Not only around us, but for ourselves as well. Say in the convent, our budget for the month used to be 10,000 last year. Now, 2 months ago, the sister responsible for food was saying that we used 22,000, and we can't sustain ourselves at that rate.
So the cost for nutrition more than doubled over a year?
Yes. We have more and more children who come to school without food, and we have more and more people looking for jobs. I must say that most of our parents, the parents whose children come to our schools, they run businesses. And when we say businesses, it ranges from selling a few sweets, a few fruits, a few vegetables, and the like. So it is very difficult for them to really cope with the high prices against their very low income. So when we look at the situation as of today, the children come to school hungry, and they may be able to have one meal when everybody is there at home together in the evening. So we have to find ways of trying to sustain a few of these children, not all. We are not in a position where we can really support all the children who come hungry, but we really pick the very needy ones, the serious cases. For the first time this year, we have really felt the difference, because whatever we use in the school, the prices are higher and higher. And when we look at the basic things that we need, like chalk, teaching and learning materials, we realize more and more that we cannot afford on our own. The government gave us a subsidy, but it wasn't uniform. And sometimes it was quite late when we already are running short. So this makes our school as well vulnerable. We have teachers who are paid by the government, but we don't have all the teachers. The government is not able to give us 100% of the teachers. And one advantage that we have as a government-aided school is that most of the time we are able to employ at a lower salary a few teachers to cover up the gap so that we continue to provide quality education to our children. Not exactly, because we do not want to compromise the quality of education. The more children we have in class, the less the teacher can really have a contact with them. And then we decided, despite the challenges, we are not going to unnecessarily increase the sizes of the classes.
So how big are classes in your school as compared to a typical secondary school in Sambia?
At the moment, the maximum we have per class is 43. We have space for 45, but we are trying to be a little bit careful because we know the more we take, the more we compromise on the quality. Against the government standard, where we have more than 120 children in one class.
Even in secondary school level?
Even in secondary school, we may have 76, 80 in the schools around us, which still is not good enough. It's really a big crowd for a teacher. For example, an English teacher, how will they teach effectively for a child to understand and to really master grammar, composition? It's not possible to provide quality education when the children are too many in class.
The students.
This is to supplement the school needs, because basically the school cannot manage to have enough of the sanitizers and other materials that may be required. And one of the things is that whilst we require these things, for children whose parents are less able, they cannot bring. So those who can bring, we really encourage the parents to provide so that the school can continue providing a hygienic environment where children do not get sick and from transferable diseases.
Yes.
More and more families have less income. If they can feed their children, that's a great thing. So we have more children in school who cannot pay school fees. And one thing that we will not do is to send them away. So from what we get from those children who are on scholarships, as well as parents who can afford, we try to balance so that everybody is kept in school. And this is why we request for those who cannot afford to bring the other extra materials. It covers up for those who cannot pay anything in the school. If they can provide the uniform, that's a basic need in the school, because these children are coming from very needy families and they may not even afford nice clothes to bring to school. So uniform makes our children equal. So we have more than 50 children who are not able to pay, but the parents try to get their uniforms in one way or the other. Well, there are two things here. One is, if the child is already registered in our school, we follow up and we bring back the child. If the child is in the community and is not known to us, there are many cases where other children watch out, because we have given them an awareness that there are your brothers and sisters out there who are not able to come to school. If you have a neighbor who doesn't come to school, let us know. We know the danger that we put ourselves in when we say such statements, because suppose 100 children come the following day, what will we do? But because we are also networking with the government schools around, we may be able to talk to the headmasters in the government schools if we cannot take the number of children who come to us. not for everyone.
Not for everyone.
There was an introduction of free education this year in January, and that brought a lot of advantages in the sense that children who could not go to school, they can go to school. And as I said, it creates other problems, like we do not have the infrastructure, we don't have enough schools to take all the children who would love to be in school and who have the right to be in school. So it brings about the issue of overcrowded conditions in classrooms. So in as much as we would wish every child to go into a government school, they cannot take everyone. That's why we have in the primary section up to 130, 140 children per class.
In the government schools.
In the government schools, yes.
School. And what is the fate of a teenager who cannot go to school?
Oh, there are many things on the negative side. They may look for jobs at a very tender age in the construction industry, where people are engaged on temporary basis in order to help their parents. In another way, they may be tempted to engage in the drugs, smoking, even theft sometimes, petty theft, it's just like that. So it's always a danger when a teenager doesn't go to school. Yes, there is a special need, but as I go around and I interact with the parents and children, and mainly the parents and children in slums, I would like more and more to narrow the gap between boys and girls, because it's good to say girl child to school, fine, but we may be neglecting the boys as well. And the boys, in my observation, in my experience, they are more at risk, because if they have nothing to do and they start engaging in beer drinking, smoking, and they can smoke heavy stuff, then we are not doing justice to the children around us. Yes, the girls, because traditionally girls have been kept at home to do the extra bits, and also with the thinking that a girl child can still manage in life without education, because they may get married to a man who is able to take care of them. It's not about being able to take care of someone. It's about being able to find your feet and being able to take care of yourself. So yes, the song about girls into the school is very, very important, but I see more and more that the boys are being left behind. Oh, a child enters into our school, it means that they have already passed the primary school. We will make sure that they pass. They qualify for third level education. So I just feel that automatically when a child comes into our hands, into our school, they have a future. What we need to do is to work closely with parents. Some parents don't really value education. They send their children to school because that is what happens anyway. Children are sent to school. But then we really need to engage the parents more and more. And we try our best to give an awareness of the importance of education, so that together we can make sure that children who come into our school come out with good results. And we have already made history. We have scored 100% pass at junior secondary school level, and our first exams last year, we scored 100%. It's not just a pass, but we are producing children with distinctions, and they qualify to go to any university in Zambia and even outside Zambia.
Just to have the comparison, what is the average pass rate in secondary school in Zambia?
The average pass rate would be around 60 something.
Okay.
Yeah. It could be lower sometimes, but then when we have a young school writing its first exams in the senior is first exam, since the junior is the second exam, and we really work hard towards producing 100%, I think we're doing well, and we would like to maintain that. That's why we don't want to crowd our classrooms. The few children whom we can teach, let them come out with something rather than have a whole group of children and then the results are not so good. Yeah, they qualify for university or other colleges. But now qualifying is not the answer to everything. These children are coming from families that need support, and some children may not get a scholarship at the university, which we find quite difficult to handle, because why give a child hope and then they cannot proceed to that level of education? I'm happy to share with you that at the moment we have got already 3 children who have gotten a scholarship. 2 of them got scholarships to study overseas, and one of them is already studying medicine in Italy. So we are trying by all means to link these children to organizations that can support them through the government. It's a government partnership that allows children to get scholarships overseas, but then also we write recommendations, very strong recommendations to the social welfare so that some of our children get scholarship for university. We are managing, 2 already have, and I hope by end of December we have more who are accepted. Yeah. We have extracurricular activities, sports, we have football, and we have got netball, volleyball. Thanks to Mkalwabo for supporting us in getting goalposts, which we didn't have. Now it makes sense. They play volleyball where there is a net. They have goalposts where they can actually score, unlike before they used to put sticks. And also we have clubs. We have health club. We have the Friends of the Environment. We are quite conscious of the climate change, and we would like to teach our children to the best of our ability that it's important to take care of the environment. It's important to take care of plants. Unfortunately, there is such a contradiction when they go back home where there is so much use of charcoal. Usage of charcoal could actually be stopped in Zambia because the new government is supporting climate change activities and trying to discourage the use of charcoal. But what is the alternative in the face of rising price of gas, electricity? It is difficult for the communities around to say, where is the alternative? How can we cook our shima when we have no charcoal around? Yes, thanks to Umkalawawa.
So is this part of educating the young generation into climate change?
Yes, yes. And it makes a lot of sense because we see in many homes, because of regular power cuts, we see in many homes solar panels from as small as 20 centimeters by 30 centimeters that they charge during the day to light their homes at night, and to bigger ones where people can actually have solar electricity to run a television and for the children to study. So they understand, and it is something very attractive to the community as well as the children, that if you could have more than one panel, you can do much more. Because they see that in school, we run our computers, we run our office machines using solar, which is good.
So
yeah, I would like to thank all the sponsors and Umkalwabo for the support that you have given us and that we hope to continue to receive. it may look like we are supporting one child, but sometimes since we try to cover up for those who cannot pay, we are actually sponsoring many because we are making it possible for us to keep as many children as we have in school. So we are grateful for that, and we hope to improve on areas where we are still lagging behind, so that the cooperation and communication between us will be much better in future. We thank you.